Is your fear causing you to be stuck, procrastinate, overeat, or hide under the covers? Well, then you are in the right place. This podcast, Break Fear, Find Your Freedom, is about people just like you. Interview people who have found their freedom and shed some fear. Some of them are still finding their freedom, but they are ordinary people. So, sit back, grab your cup of coffee or your running shoes, and let the fun begin. Oh, by the way, listen to the end, we have some fun, exciting competition just for you. So I'm really excited to show you the way. Come in, listen, and let's share the fun. Hello everybody, today I've got a very, very awesome guest called Roy Phay. And Roy is a life transformation coach. But I'll let Roy tell you all about it.
Hi everyone, hi Carina. Hi, my name is Roy Phay from this tiny island in the Southeast Asia called Singapore. I'm not sure if you've been to Singapore, but this is where I was born and grew up with. And personally myself, I'm just an average kid, just grew up from an average family, going to the neighborhood schools and having average grade or even below average grade since young. So my parents are actually beautiful, hardworking employees. They work up to 12 hours or even 15 hours sometimes every day, just to put food on the table for me and my brother growing up. So I know how hard work is, and I actually started my first job at the age of 14 working for this amazing American franchise called McDonald's.
Wow.
Yeah.
In Singapore, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. And at the age of, I think as young as 8 or 9 years old, I still remember my mom would bring me to McDonald's every Sunday because it's an off day for that Sunday, or rather she worked late. I get McDonald's. So at 14, I worked McDonald's. I still remember it's $3 per hour. And I was so ecstatic when I got my first paycheck, which is I think like $100 over after working for 2 weeks. But I do know what's the effect of working for $3 per hour at the age of 14, and I did that for 4 years when I was doing my high school. So long story short, at the age of about 24, 25, I decided to start my own business. That's where I got into internet business. That's where I really seek mentors. I went to a lot of seminars, personal development, gurus that you might have heard before, like Tony Robbins, T.F. Ecker, Robert Kiyosaki. Bought their books, their home study courses, and also invested close or more than US 100,000 over the 10 years period on this learning, right? And it literally helped me to have the right mindset to kickstart my business as a self-employed individual, working from home, internet lifestyle. However, I was struggling, and that was about the same year that I got married. I bought my new house, and I used all my savings for my wedding, and I literally, me and my partner back then, literally start off with almost nothing and no cash in the bank. And I still remember there are days that we'll eat cup noodles or packet noodles. I'm not sure if you have that in
ramen, right?
Yeah, in the States, So it's really cheap. For Singapore, you can buy 5 packs for $1.50, and that lasts us for 2 to 3 days. And there are days that we literally go to the ATM machine and I want to withdraw like $20 just to buy some food or grocery, and I left like $6, and I can't even withdraw a minimum of $20 in the bank. So those are very stressful time, and those are very roller coaster, up and down, right? And emotion is all over the place, and things like that. Yeah. So that's my journey, and I mean it's a long journey, and it came to a point. It came to a point that I wasn't really happy with my life, yeah, to a point that actually people see that Roy is successful. Roy is doing very well. He has this internet business. He's getting projects. He's meeting clients. He's married, 2 beautiful kids, having a house. So on the outside, people are seeing all the success that I have. But deep inside, I was miserable, and in many ways, I was misaligned in terms of what my heart, my soul, and my mind wants. Right. So to the point that I still remember on this very fateful day, on the 2nd of February 2015. I still remember this amazing day, which is I just flew back from the US. It was a 24 hours flight from US back to Singapore, and I was just arrived Singapore airline flight back to Singapore, and after 24 hours it's really tiring, and it's 4:30 a.m. in the morning when I arrived Singapore Changi Airport. And I was tired after away for 2 weeks, away from my family, away from my business, yet tired of the 24 hours flight. So I parked my car at my office back then, and so the first thing is to grab a taxi to my office and to get my car, and I can go home, right? Yes. So when I was in the office, so at the same time I decided, hey, since I'm in the office, I might as well just go into the office and take a look how's my office like. So it was 5 a.m. in the morning. It's a weekday. Nobody was in the office. It was like dark. The corridor was dark, and I just opened my door, opened my main door, my inside door. I have 2 doors to my main office. And when I opened, I switched on the light. I was shocked. My office was exactly the same condition the first day I went in to view it. So can you imagine, you are like going in to view the office, wanting to rent office. It was just bare, nothing, just table and bed. So when I went in, it was exactly like as if I was first went in and saw it as rented. And my heart sank. My heart sank because before I left, I have all my belongings, and I quickly went to my drawer and pulled my drawer. It was empty. Right, that office has nobody except me and my partner, which is my wife, back then. So I pulled my drawer and it was empty. My heart drops, and I was pouting like crazy and was panicking because I left 20,000 Singapore dollars cash in the drawer before I left, and I need to make payments for that. So I didn't know what happened. My mind was running crazy. My heart was like beating at I don't know, 300 beats per second or something like that. And I just slammed the door, locked the door, and I quickly rushed to my car, turned on my key, jammed on the accelerator, and I skid off, and then I really drive as fast as possible back home, beating a few traffic lights early in the morning, 5:30 in the morning. And when I reached home, so I got to park my car, pull my luggage all the way to my apartment. And because it's still early, my parents and my kids and my family are still sleeping, so I just creep into my room as quietly as possible as I turn the handle. It was dark inside, but there's some street lights, so I still can see something. When I went in, my room was empty as well.
Oh wow!
Yeah, so I was left with just a super single bed, a pillow, and a bolster. I still remember, and I opened up the wardrobe, everything was gone, my kids' toy, my kids' clothes, my ex-wife and things like that. So I don't know what happened, but I just knew something big is going to happen, and I just sat there and I just cried my heart out. And that's the start of my life, which one of the lowest point of my life, where I go through 6 months of depression. That's the year I had a very terrible and public divorce. I lost my business, I have no income for 6 months, and I just realized that the misalignment that I had for years caused all this to happen. And little by little, little by little I picked myself up. Sorry,
so no, I want to go back to that, because that's like so important, because you were down and out, the fear, the emotions that you must have gone through. And how did you realize you were misaligned? I mean, what happened at that point? What happened within the 6 months to make you change, to shift that fear, that pain, whatever it was, that overwhelm? It must have been a horrible feeling to come in and not know what was going on. What happened to shift that? To shift it and change your life to Roy now? I mean, okay, it was a long journey, but that initial change. What happened?
To be honest, back then I didn't know I was misaligned. Back then I'm human. I was complaining for sure, and I was like going through a lot of emotional craziness. The worst still are the people around me, including my parents or my loved one, my family and friends. I literally for 6 months I called up friends and nobody wants to meet me. And that's where I realized my energy is so bad. And in Chinese, we believe this thing called bad luck. When you're bad luck, everything is not going your way. But you're right. However, somehow I was blessed. Just 6 months into that, I remember, I met one of my first angel in my life that comes to help me. So that's where he first talked to me, and I just knew at that point that I need to talk to this person. And I was doing some private coaching with him for about 6 months. He helped me, and the next person comes in, and little by little, that's how I built up myself. However, one of my key turning points is when I started learning this Chinese ancient tool called Chinese Metaphysics. Right, so Chinese Metaphysics is from China. I think most of you might have heard that before. There are many different subsets of it, like Feng Shui is one of it, Bazi, Qimeng Dunjia, I Ching or I Ching is one of it as well, or even the Sun Zhi Ao War. It's not part of Chinese Metaphysics, but it's like a part of it. And face reading, palm reading, all these are just part of Chinese Metaphysics, right? So the last few years, one thing that I focus a lot on is this ancient warcraft tool called Qimeng Dunjia. Right, Qimeng Dunjia is ancient warcraft that used by the emperor in the past to fight war battles, to conquer lands. And the emperor in the ancient China 3,000 years ago usually have strategists beside him. And this strategist usually is someone with like a sages and lots of wisdom, and most of them are astrologer. They'll stargaze at night just to know the planet's movement, and they have their wisdom to calculate certain formulas, to know the landforms, how the environment, the energy move, or even the weather, and that's how they use it to win wars. So one of the very popular story was told by this sage. His name is Zhuge Liang. It's actually in the Romance of the Three Kingdoms. And this particular battle called the Red Cliff, there's actually a movie on that. It's a Hong Kong movie that's between Japan, China, and Hong Kong actors. They did this. It's in Chinese, but there's English subtitle, I believe. So it's a movie. There's two parts to it, part 1 and part 2. So it literally talks about how Zhuge Liang, this China ancient sages, like a strategist, use a Qimeng Dunjia to win that particular war, which is almost impossible to win. Wow. So now in the modern time, I use it to increase the internal energy, where to do this thing called a Qimeng manifestation to get the results that we want. Yeah, so this is what I've been doing, and for the past few years, that is one of the key turning points of my life, where I really get a lot of results from there, from getting a lot of help from people, helpful people come and help me, support me in terms of financial, in terms of assistance, in terms of resources. Also my business start to hit my yearly targets, and also I get to travel to many places in 2019, and some of the travels are free, okay, because I somehow able to have that good luck now, right, as compared to 2015 with bad luck. And also one more thing that is a miracle for me, which I personally find, is because after my divorce, I lost my house, and for past 3-4 years, I've been wanting to get my own apartment. And I'm really shameful to share that after that, after my divorce, I was staying with my parents for many years, trying to turn my life around. And as an adult, I know it's a taboo in America to be staying with your parents, but it's the same in the Chinese culture as well. So I've been always wanted to get my apartment, but because of my financial situation, because of the laws in Singapore, I couldn't get one, I couldn't get a bank loan. So Qi manifestation is one of the predominant tool that I use it to get an amazing feng shui house that is great energy, and I'm now staying in this apartment for 4 months, and I've been getting phenomenal result for 2021. Right, last year 2020 is the COVID. At the peak of COVID, I got my house, and that's how I use Qi manifestation. Some results of it.
Wow, that's such an exciting story. But I'm going to go just back for a bit. You mentioned about how people come into your life, and a lot of what I believe, and that's also what this whole podcast is about, is how fear is actually and we just use fear as a blanket statement, is really a blessing. So can you just go back and explain how angels came into your life and just help you, support you, and how that actually worked, and also the difference, because you know, bad luck and good luck in the West, it's like curses and all that, and that's another story. But can you explain also about the energy? That's like so important, how like attracts like, really, because you were in such down and out, and your energy was really low because you were feeling depressed and horrible and whatever you were feeling. Nobody wanted to even have you around. And of course, then you just attracted that negative stuff all back into your life. But can you just explain a bit to our listeners so that people can actually understand that and understand that?
Sure. It's actually very simple, and I'm sure the listener who is listening now, you might heard about this, right? One thing that Qi manifestation work on, the basics of it, back to the fundamental, is this word called energy, right? So today you can hear my voice, you can hear the energy, that's one. The table you're touching is energy, the water that you're drinking is energy. Your body is made out of 70% of water, there's energy inside. Your environment is energy, and everything around you is energy. So when you feel fearful, anxiety, stress, worry, and all the negative emotions. Emotion is also energy. So when you have that, we say that you are in a downward spiral because one thing leads to another. And that's what I've been going through my life for at least a decade or more, until I was totally misaligned and my divorce hit me. That caused me to wake up. And I'm thankful that I woke up back then. If not, I don't know what's going to happen for me, right? So that's the downward spiral. So what Qi manifestation does, and how does it able to give you miracles, is when we work on this energy. And there's 4 different realms of energy that we are working on. So there's a universal realm, there's a heaven realm, there's an earth realm, and there's a man realm. So for Chinese, they will heard about this statement called 天时地利人和. So this 6 Chinese character, I'll translate it. It just means the right time, the right place, and the right people. Okay. So people heard about that. That to most people is like good luck, because you are literally at the right time, the right place, and meeting the right people. That's how you got this opportunity, or this change of luck, or this change of good financial fortune or opportunity that comes to you. However, why Qi manifestation can create miracles, because it's not just 3 realms, right? Because right time, right place, and right people is 3 realms. What Qi manifestation does is there's a 4th realm, which is a universal realm. So when you align the 4 realms together with universal energy, and you have the right mindset, and the right emotion and the right action, guess what? Miracles happen for you because everything is in the flow. So that's what happens. So how do you align yourself in the forum? That's where the achievement manifestation daily practice comes in, and it only takes you 3 minutes of your time. And ever since I start sharing my story in a Facebook group last year in June, and I start doing a day-to-day posting, and I garner so much attention that people kind of like ask me, Roy, you should do a webinar to share this. And I did a webinar, and people say you should do a workshop to share that. And since then, I've been running like 4 classes now of achievement manifestation workshop. I have more than 100 students from like 12 to 15 different countries. And I have like 30 plus video testimonials about people using this simple 3-minute technique every day to get results, from refinancing of their house, to weight loss, to getting their new job, to turning the business around, from feeling lost to now feeling a lot more clarity, all sorts of testimonial, and each one literally lights me up because that's better than $1 million in life. I love my $1 million, but this is so much better than you know, literally makes me feel happy, and that's my fulfillment. I always share whatever I'm doing for the workshop, coaching is really my life fulfillment. The real business, the money that comes in for me is my internet business. Yeah.
That's very good. So what do you say? So you would say that if people's lives start falling apart, right? So they're misaligned. Is that the only manifestation of being misaligned? So how do I know if I'm misaligned?
Simple, just the results of your life. If you feel that you wanted to launch a project and you somehow was being met with a lot of obstacles, or you keep delaying, you keep procrastinating, you're having a lot of stress, somehow you know that you're misaligned or not happy with your career, your health, your weight, your spouse, whatever, your kids, right? So all this will cause misalignment in your life. And life lesson comes in different ways. It can come in the form of divorce for myself. Some people get bankruptcy. Some people get health issue, like really a bad health issue like cancer and things like that. All this is just the universe telling us that, hey, you are going through the wrong path. This is not the path you should go. You should come back to this, right? Yeah, so, and we get signs along the way, but it's just that we didn't notice because we are so busy with life, running the rat race, catching up the Joneses and things like that. So yeah, so achievement manifestation is just one tool that you can use. I love it because it's free, it's easy, and you get results like within 2 weeks to 4 weeks.
Wow, that's pretty.
That's what I usually do for my students. Another very popular tool is called Feng Shui. Feng Shui is using the environmental energy and harness the energy into your house. However, Feng Shui is expensive because you either need to buy a house, apartment, or even rent one. So either way, you still have to fork out some cash. And to do some Feng Shui cure, I don't believe in buying items like a dragon or a tortoise or like a turtle, something like that. But even to do very basic Feng Shui cure, you need to do some simple renovation that costs money as well.
Yes.
So the achievement manifestation is literally free. I could teach you this method in like 2 days workshop, and you can start getting results the next day.
Wow, that's very exciting.
Yeah.
That's very exciting. And I mean, you prove that it actually works, right?
Yeah. So I always like to share my own personal journey just to inspire people. It took me a long time. It literally took me more than 10 years. Like just now, Carina, you're talking about a fear, right? So in fact, in 2007, I was approached by now literally the world's largest seminal company in Singapore to be their platform speaker, to go around the world to speak to many countries like Australia, Malaysia, Singapore, India. And that back then was the internet boom period in Singapore. And that's how I met Mark Joyner back then in 2007 at the backstage.
Oh,
And,
wow. That's
yeah,
exciting.
yes, I was invited as I spoke on the stage for like 2 to 3 times, and I sold packages and things like that. But somehow I wasn't having the right confidence. I wasn't having like very low self-esteem, and that's where I missed the opportunity when the boss called me literally and asked me if I want to be one of their speaker. I rejected it, and I kind of regretted it, because now looking back 13 years later, what would my life be if I went through that route? So I tell myself, you know, I don't have any more 10 years to waste. So now what I do is I really just sincerely and humbly share my journey, and yeah, and then hope, as I tell myself, as long as there's one people that I could help and light up their candle, because I know if one person's life is changed, their loved one, the family, the friends, the environment will create ripple effects, and things will change for them as well.
Exactly.
That's good enough for me. That's good enough for me.
Yeah, that's very exciting. So if you can teach one person, then it's just, yes, it's the ripple effect, and that's what makes this work so exciting, really, because you can impact one person at a time.
Yeah. So I just focus on one, or I don't really focus on the 50, the 100. So when I first started, I just tell myself, even I write on a Facebook group, as long as there's one person who really like my sharing, it's good enough. The half an hour or 1 hour invested to craft that one post would have benefited one person.
Yes.
That's it. Yeah.
Wow, this is very exciting. So why did you choose this actual area of manifestation as opposed to maybe qigong or something else, or palm reading or face reading, and I don't know.
It's a good question. So to be frank, I was very much into The Secret and the Law of Attraction when it first launched in 2005, 2006 in Singapore. I was really into it. I was doing it literally. I watched The Secret like for 5 times. I love The Secret. I'm not saying that it's not good, but I just realized The Secret is, not many people could implement it. Like I myself, I tried, I get some result, but it's not consistent for me. Maybe I do it wrongly. However, what I realized is this human manifestation is powerful because, like I said, it works on the 4 realms of our energy. And when you once align this 4 realms of energy, that's where you can see the miracles. And it's the only tools that I know or I've been taught about from the master that I learned from. His name is Joey Yap, Dato' Joey Yap from Malaysia, and that's where I learned from. And I like to say I'm a good student. Whatever you teach me, I'm very coachable. Whatever you teach me, I'll just use it, and I'll use it to get my first result first. And when I get more result, and that's where I layer different things, and that's where I use more things as well. Yeah.
That is exciting. So Roy, do you think you found your freedom?
I would say that I'm a lot happier now. Every day I'm thankful, I'm happy. I am just like today, we were chit-chatting just before this recording that this session now in Singapore is 12:30 midnight for me, and my day starts at 6:30 a.m. yesterday, and my first meeting was at 10 a.m. in the morning, and followed by 1:30 p.m. For a group meeting, and 5 p.m. I was doing my monthly Q&A support group for my Achievement Manifestation workshop students, and 7:30 I just had a new webinar launch for my VVIP, which is my existing students, a pre-launch, and 11:30 I just did a Facebook Live for my Success Mastery Tribe group, Facebook group. And now this is the 6th session with you, Carina, for this recording tonight. So I'm still pumped, I'm still having high energy. I'm very thankful because each and every day I get to choose what I love to do. To me, work and life is integrated, and I literally, to me, 7 days a week is not really work, but I'm enjoying, I'm having fun, I'm having fulfillment for my life, and I mean, financially, I'm doing a lot better than before, so that's where I'm at. Yeah, so I'm happy.
Wow, so that's brilliant. So is it this process that you're using that's giving you this amount of energy? I mean, to look at you, you're looking fresh. Looks like you've just woken up and you're high energy. So can you give some advice to the listeners to, I don't know, pump yourself up like the way and to have this high energy for such a long day?
For me, okay, so in Qi manifestation, there's a total of 10 different, we call it deities, but rest assured it's not literally the God that we pray to, or you know, it's non-religion, but I always like to say that it's like part of the subconscious mind. So each one have their own, like a superpower and their own energy. So everyone have theirs. You just need to know your birthday and your time to plot onto a software, and you could know literally in seconds which one is yours and what's your superpower and how you can tap into it. So it just happened that mine was white tiger, and white tiger's superpower is actually energy and vitality. So I didn't know that years before, but however, growing up as a kid, I always get tired easily, to be frank. I didn't have that energy. I still remember in high school, I literally fell asleep in the class so often that the teacher got so angry and got me to stand on the desk in front of the class, embarrassing me so that I don't fall asleep. Right, so that's how bad it was. It came to a point even it got worse when I was self-employed. Stress came in, and I'll use sleep as an escape, and I'll sleep in the afternoon, you know, and it's so bad, and I never had good energy. And if I were to be able to show my photo, which is like almost 10 years ago versus the photo that I have now, which I usually show in all my webinars, people would get a shock. How far I've come in terms of the photos, even when I was in my early 30s versus now where I'm in my early 40s. I look so much difference. So the deity that my personal one is white tiger, which represents energy. So now I know how to tap into it, I know how to use it. So even if yours is not, you can use it as well. You just need to learn how the technique of it. And there are 10 different, so each one has their own superpowers.
That's really great. Wow, Roy, there's so much, and there's so much to learn. And I'm sure the listeners just want to know, where can they find you? How can they find you? How can they work with you?
Sure, thank you, Carina. So you can go to my website. That's royphay.com, royphay.com. That's my main website. Or you have on Facebook, you can search on Facebook group called Success Mastery Tribe. Success Mastery Tribe, that's my Facebook group. You can join my Facebook group. Same thing, I also use Qi manifestation, and a little bit that I grew my Facebook group from 0 literally in 45 days to more than 2,000 members now.
Wow.
And I'm looking excited to grow it to the next level pretty soon, in the next few months. I'm preparing some campaigns to launch it. Yeah, but currently we have about 2,200 members, and so if you'd like to be part of this amazing supportive tribe that I'm building with positivity, with lots of inspiration daily, I'm doing daily posting, and we have different members doing different things, talking about Chinese metaphysics, inspiration, personal development, things like that. Do join us at Success Mastery Tribe on Facebook group itself.
Wow, it sounds so exciting. Now, and before I ask you the last question, we just need to, you know that we're running a contest with this beautiful podcast, and you have really been very generous and offered us. What are you going to offer as a prize?
Yeah, thank you so much, Carina, for the opportunity, because the prize that I'm offering is this Qimeng manifestation webinar that I've done previously, and I really took it off record. It was no longer available for free because I decided to make this as part of my paid webinar that people could pay for it and download it. It's actually a 90 minutes webinar which I really go through my story and give you some history about what is this Qimeng Dunjia, and also a quick exercise on how you could do the manifestation, the 5 steps, the 5-step system, so you can watch that. And also at the same time to know more about the entire workshop as well. So this was going to be available online pretty soon on my website. I'm revamping my website. It's going to be a value of $29.70. So however, because of this podcast with Carina, so I'm going to offer this to you for free, 90 minutes Qimeng manifestation webinar, which is a great way for you to kickstart this idea of how you could literally use this ancient art and wisdom and tool in modern ways to get the modern success that you want.
Oh, that's very exciting. So everyone, remember, go down, just click it down below and join the contest so you can win this awesome prize. Thank you, Roy. But before we go, I'd like to ask you, what change do you want to be in the world?
Wow, it's a great question. And what change do I want to be in the world? To me, it's I really wish the world people could be living the best version of who they are, to be more kinder, to be more positive, to spread love, not gossip, rumors or hate. I think this world will be a much better world. And now with this COVID that's running, and we are going through crazy times with the economy, with businesses around, and based on the Chinese metaphysics that's up and coming in this year, the month of June and July, it seems like things are going a bit crazy in the next few years as well. So yeah, so it's really important to hang in there, be the best version as you can be, in regardless if you are really depressed or down. Just be the best, be positive, be spreading love, just do a tiny good if you can, even just to someone you meet, or just open a door for someone, or pick up a litter, or just give share your food with a homeless person or something like that. You know, I'm not asking you to give $1 million to 1 million people, but just small things you can do. I still remember when I literally have no money, I still give, you know, in Singapore we have a lot of elderly selling tissue papers, like a pack of in a pack of like you know, 5 packets, and it's like $1. So even back then I don't have much money, I can still spare $2. I'll use $2 to buy 1 packet of tissue paper for the elderly, right? $2 in Singapore might not seem a lot, but at least they could have a meal for the day. Right? I don't know how much they can sell to make enough, but that's what I did. So really just be the best version of who you are, spread love, positivity, and also spread light as well.
Thank you, Roy. But now you've I just have to ask you another question that you mentioned, and I can't leave that open. You were saying something about June and July, so give me a little bit of a hint. What's happening according to Chinese medicine and Chinese? What's happening in June?
So according to Chinese metaphysics, if you know a little bit of feng shui and also Qimeng, and Bazi, actually this year alone, this year itself, and this year and the next 2 years, we're actually going through the winter period of the world. And I know some people talk about it as well. So, but specifically June and July, and I try not to go too technical, right? So, but in feng shui, in June itself, in the south sector, one of the flying star, which is not a good star, is flying into the south sector itself. And south sector now is the period for the next 20 years in feng shui. So when that happened, we say that somehow there is like a clash or something like that. And also June, also somewhere in June, I don't remember the date, but somewhere mid-June, there's actually a solar eclipse that's coming. So each time there's a solar eclipse in terms of the planet changes, there's some havoc that's going on around. In fact, the COVID-19 that spread, starting from China, was started because of a major solar eclipse back then in 2019. I think it's quite a big phenomenon around the world, especially in Singapore. I think even like President Donald Trump went to see this eclipse, right? So it started from there. So June is an important month to look at. I personally are investing in the stock market, so I do track very closely the prices of like the indexes like S&P 500, the Bitcoins, and you know, Bitcoin just tanked recently, about 50% just from the last high. So things are moving crazily a bit in June and July. So just hanging there. If you're positioning well and you are in a good position, it might help you a lot in terms of things like your financial standing or investment and things like that. But if you're not, then yeah, some people might get hit real hard this time.
Okay, so now so what you're saying is it's really important to be really well aligned during that time. So you
exactly.
consider the store.
Exactly. So because when you're well aligned, you could even turn crisis into opportunity, or you could be aware of the opportunity, and that's where you can be prepared for it.
Yes, that's brilliant. Just like we said, we can turn crisis into opportunity, and fear, there's always a blessing in fear, right?
Exactly.
Okay, Roy, thank you. That was really good. But before we go, please just tell people where they can find you again.
Thank you, Carina. So they can find me at my website, royphay.com. That's ROYPHAYP for Portugal, PHAY.com. That's my name.
Thank you, Roy. This has been awesome. We'll have to have a follow-up soon.
Thank you, Carina. Thanks for having me.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you.